Zen. Many people, I think, will know that Zen is a branch of Buddhist thought found in Japan, where you have Zen monasteries in Kyoto and elsewhere. And some may have read some of the classics, not only the Zen masters themselves, but also things like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, or Zen and the Art of Archery. But I've grown to admire and found much inspiration in Zen later in my life. I'm still not a Zen master in any sense, but there are bits of the philosophy which I particularly like. Zen, I've only recently realized, is actually Chinese. It's what was in China was called Chan, and then became Zen in Japanese. Chan philosophy, a form of Mahayana Buddhism, which came to Japan in the 12th, 13th centuries, but was developed in China in the 8th, 9th centuries, is an extreme form of Buddhism, which is so far from the original Buddhism of India and Tibet that it hardly seems the same. It emphasizes hugely self-discipline and the renunciation of all material goals and introspection. It's very deeply meditative, and yet the aim is not to think a whole set of new thoughts and to order your thoughts. It's to overcome thought. It's to eliminate thought. And so it's filled, one of its famous characteristics is that it's filled with paradoxes, illogical things which break any kind of logical sequential thinking. Two famous paradoxes are: imagine the sound of one hand clapping. How can you imagine that? Another one, which is a great puzzle, is supposedly it's a Buddhist sect, and yet one of the Zen sayings is, if you see the Buddha, kill him. Kill your founder? Well, I'm told what that means is that since all things are illusion, the Buddha himself is also an illusion. And so if you are in the state of having illusions in meeting the Buddha, you should eliminate or kill that illusion. So there is this extreme set of contradictions which I increasingly like, because our life is so contradictory that we do have to imagine the sound of one hand clapping. We have to imagine many impossible things, as the Red Queen told Alice. We have to train our minds to believe in impossible things because they are all around us. Our life is full of contradictions. Science is increasingly weird. It's a weird world, and a weird world is well approached from some of the ideas of Zen. Another feature that I really like is this idea of discipline, though I don't pursue the Zen training of that kind, and that is that you master an art. That's why two of the books are And the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance and the Art of Archery. In the Art of Archery, for example, famously, you start firing a bow at a target, and you have to concentrate very hard and aim it, and you get better and better. But by constant practice, you get to a point where you have mastered it so well that you can forget all the techniques and just do it without any kind of preparation or hesitation, and you can even look the other way, fire the bow, and it hits the target. And that kind of mastery, which I'm trying to exhibit in these little talks where I give no preparation, no thought before I talk, is the summation. So after many decades of my life, carefully preparing my essays, carefully preparing my articles and books, thinking deeply before I do any kind of constructive work. I've now got to the point, I hope, of a minor Zen master who can just, when called on, do a reasonable performance without forethought and purely from the inside and the heart. And that's a form of Zen speaking which I hope you're enjoying.